I am Araceli, a wealth advisor, real estate investor in the United States and Canada, and creator of Wealthy Women in Real Estate. Every week, I meet with Colette, a real estate broker and a real estate investor in Canada. We come together to talk about all things real estate investing and how to increase your wealth. Join us. Welcome, everyone. This is Araceli, Transition Wealth Advisor and real estate investor in the US and Canada. And here today I'm with Colette with our coffee chat. So let's, nice, Colette. So can you introduce yourself and tell us what we're talking about today?
Of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Colette Rabba. I'm a GTA residential real estate broker. Oh, that came out a little different today. Yeah. So I also have investment properties, and that's why Araceli and I like to talk, because we love real estate. Doesn't matter where it is. We love talking about it, but also we like to help our clients, her with finances, me with buying and selling, especially income properties. And that could look like very different things to different people. Yes. So that's why we love to give information. And today we have to say,
so we're going to be in the news and what it means to you. There's a lot of things floating around. I am particularly not fond of news. I don't read the news very often because I know if it's bad, then it affects me and I really don't want to. But it is important. It is important to know.
I agree. And I'm not a big fan of news, but it's the devil you know. I like to have that saying, the devil you know, so you can plan ahead and you can think about, okay, if this is going to happen, what could the next, let's say if we're playing chess, what could the next chess moves be? And it's same thing with investing or any business. Like you really have to do your forecasting every year and look at what is going on in the world to decide what you want to do within your own life and within your own parameters.
Correct.
So we also have to say that this show is about our opinions, and please make sure you talk to lawyers, make sure you talk to your own representatives before you go ahead and do some crazy stuff. That's with anything when it comes to real estate, even any financial decisions you make.
Well, that is exactly what is the news as well. You know, they can tell you that the sky's falling, but it's up to you what you're going to do.
Exactly.
So, we can tell you from our own perspective, and I think that everything that we say here in the show, it is pretty realistic. There's nothing inflated. There's nothing that we have not experienced ourselves. And of course, you know, we can tell you our own opinion of how we're going to be moving forward with what we're doing. And I hope that this helps you because anything that we say here is what we experience ourselves. So
yeah. And please, this is why we do the show. We want you to call us and talk to us and say, hey, what do you think? And we'll go through your own finance. I won't go through your finances, Araceli will. But if you have those questions to say, okay, look, I want to do this. What do I do? Both of us are very open to consultation, to giving you strategies, to really deciding or helping you decide. Not we don't decide, but to help you decide what's the best move for you, not for us.
Yeah.
So please, use this
everybody
as
is so different. Yeah. Everybody
just a guide, not God's word or whatever you want to call it. You're not.
Yeah. So there's a few things today in the news that we're going to go through. So the first one is the interest rates going up. So what does that mean to you? Right. Yeah, okay, go ahead, Colette.
Well, mortgage rates. So in Canada, I believe right now we're in April of 2022. So if you're watching this in a year from now, so you have a benchmark, it's around 2.7% is the prime rate of Canada. So what that means is you go to a lender, you go to a mortgage broker or a bank, and you say, hey, what can I do? How much is a mortgage right now? And then based on your income and everything like that, if you're a first-time buyer, and you need to get a mortgage, if you don't have like $1 million cash lying around to buy property these days, you have to get a mortgage. And I don't know what the statistic is, but most people have a mortgage these days. So what that looks like is to say, okay, now finally after COVID, we had 2 years of the same mortgage rate and it's very, very low. So currently it's about 2.7% is the prime rate, Canada prime rate right now. And that should be moving up. It should be increasing this year. So we've already had one rate hike earlier this year. I believe another one is coming either today or this week. And then in a couple weeks or even in a few months, they said there's going to be another a rate hike. Sorry, rake. I put it into one word. Rate hike. So what does that mean to us? What does it mean to homeowners? So here I am. Let's just pretend I bought a house last year and I qualified for $1 million mortgage, right? So now the rate hike is going up. Instead of my let's just say $2,000 a month payment, now it increases because the rate is higher. So can I afford, let's say $2,050,000 or whichever, how much the rate is going to change my monthly payment. So what does that look like to you? Can I afford $50 more on my mortgage? Yeah, probably, right? But if the rate keeps going up, and let's say in a year from now, it's 1 point higher instead of a quarter point, it usually jumps a quarter point. So let's say instead of, let's say my mortgage is 2% because it's usually higher than the Bank of Canada's rate. Or if you're very good and you qualify for under, you could also qualify for under that rate, the Canada rate.
But before you continue on, this is good information. But if you did get a mortgage last year, depending on the type of mortgage that you got, if you got
variable,
if it's a variable, then your interest and your payment will go up as the interest rate rises.
Yes.
However, if you do have a period of time that you got that for 3 years to 5 years sometimes, then that means that for the next 5 years, so for the remainder of the period, you're going to have exactly the same one. So you need to plan ahead. After my period is finished, what is the interest rate that it's going to go to?
Okay, so you're talking about a fixed rate. So you're right.
Perfect.
If you have a fixed rate right now, you're probably paying already 4%. So the fixed rate is different than a variable rate. And we should get a mortgage agent to, talk to us about that. But just for today's sake, we're talking about what this means for the next 5-10 years when you're looking at investment properties. So that is in the news right now. Mortgage rates are going up. Number two, we just heard, what was it, yesterday?
Yep.
That the federal government has banned foreign buyers for 2 years. So what they're trying to do with that, and really the percentage of foreign buyers is something like 3 to 4%.
3 to 4%. That's
so this is why we do the show, because what does this mean? So even, let's just say, this is the way the current market is right now. I have a house, I want to sell it. So I take pretty pictures, I stage it, I do everything out great, I clean it, I renovate it, whatever it is, I put it on the market. Now I have 10 buyers lining up and they all want to make an offer on my property. Let's say I list it for $500,000. 10 buyers, that means the price, you're going to have multiple offers and the price is going to go higher than that. So now out of 10% or 3% is gone. So let's say now you have 7 or 8 people offering now. Let's say, even play devil's advocate. Let's say there's only 6 offers now instead of 10. Do you really think that's going to make a difference on the purchase price? If I know I'm competing with another 6 people, I'm going to put my best foot forward, my highest. I'm going to offer, if I really want that house.
Yep.
I'm going to offer as much as I have in my pocket.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to make much of a dent for cooling up the market. I'm telling you, this is just my opinion, because there is not enough foreign buyers making offers. It's just the percentage there is out there.
Exactly. So we're talking about percentages. So if we just look at the numbers, the statistics of how many foreign buyers are out there, I really don't know if that's going to make a huge difference. But guess what? It is going to make a huge difference with. You know it as well as I do. Rentals. So guess what? All my rental properties, the price has gone up now because those foreign buyers are still coming. They need to live somewhere. Sorry, not foreign buyers.
Not foreign buyers, no.
Let's say people, no, not even buyers, but people from other countries are coming and immigrating. Immigration is still going to happen, especially with 2 years. We need the economy. We need that money from people coming in and immigrating. So all those people that have had their paperwork in their countries to start to come to Canada haven't just stopped. They're still coming, and they need to live somewhere. So I think rental properties, they're still gonna climb.
Oh, absolutely. There's way too many people that are expected to arrive after all this COVID craziness that stopped the process. So now the people that are coming, guess what they're not gonna all come and buy something. The majority of them will gonna start renting places.
Exactly.
There's gonna be a shortage of rentals, and
there already is a shortage of rentals, and the whole thing about being affordable rentals, that's out the window. So, when you talk about affordability in housing, this includes rentals. I'm sure this is not just the one thing of like affordable to buy. Mm-hmm. It's affordable to live. And that's the problem with Canada right now. Our inflation rate has gone up. There's a war across the world that, we really will be affected by it eventually. There's still the residuals of COVID with, having this supply chain issues of having products come in. Uh-huh. So we're in this funny bubble. And when people talk about real estate bubble, this is not the bubble I'm talking about. I'm talking about this strange bubble that has to do with COVID, that has to do with the income, the affordable housing, news out there. That's what we're going to talk about next. But also what's happening in the world globally, and just the speed of inflation, of how it's going up, is something that we're going to talk at the end about what we think is going to happen in the real estate market. So the third thing we wanted to talk about that has also been in the news is affordable housing. What say you about that, Araceli?
So what does that really mean, right? Affordable to who, right? Because it's all about income. And I think that is why, as I always say to you, the only thing that you can control is to understand your own finances, to know what you're spending, what it's costing you to live, and what is the shortages, because we're all going headed that direction. Nobody has enough money. Everything is so inflated that now filling out your gas tank, oh my goodness, going to the grocery store, you still have to eat, you still have to drive your car, even though we drive a lot less. I do. And I'm sure a lot of people are driving less, but it's pretty expensive, right?
Right. And you can't say nobody can afford it. There's many, many people that are making very good income and actually have pivoted into jobs that have increased their income level because of COVID. And they thought, okay, now's the time for me to go back to school, for me to pivot, for me to change jobs, to really sink my teeth into something that I love. And there are lots of people that have thrived during the last couple of years, which, I'm really proud of you guys. If that's one of you that have done that, where you've increased your, because this is the thing too. We really say, okay, we can forecast and we can give you general ideas of what's going to happen, but nobody has a crystal ball. The only people that can tell you what's going to happen in the housing market is the Bank of Canada and the government. And then they can say, okay, this is generally what's going to happen. But something like COVID, it blew everybody out of the water. Nobody knew anything about what's going to happen. How is it going to? I don't think anybody's expecting this housing market craziness.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I actually thought that everything was going to go down instead.
Right. That people would just hunker down and hibernate for the next 2 years and do nothing and not move, but it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. Affordable housing in the news, just to say this one little point, it's an election year. So when the government talks about affordable housing, you have to understand that there are a couple things at play here. Number one, it's to get reelected.
Yep.
Number two, it's to say, okay, we're going to put $100 million or whatever the number is into affordable housing. That's also supposed to be to continue on with what they've already started. That's their budget for everything, including the ongoing income housing or the affordable housing plans that they already have in motion.
Yeah.
The other thing too, which really surprises me, when you really look at the articles and read the articles, this affordable housing could only be in Ottawa. Do you want to move to Ottawa? Or let's say, in Saskatchewan. So this is what it means when they say Canada's affordable housing plan.
Yeah, they don't give you the location.
It might be in Nunavut. I don't know.
Yeah.
So read the articles and see, because once the government that's got elected, the government that's coming, there's no guarantee. Like, we all know that. Let's just be truthful. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, the only thing that you can control is taking a look at your own finances and see if there's any way possible to make more money, because there is no other way. If things continue to go up and your salary or your income doesn't go up,
right,
there's always going to be a shortage. So,
and guess what? You and I are both doing it. It's called getting somebody in your property, even to rent a room, even to rent your basement, even to think about how can you make more money without, we're not asking you to go and work at McDonald's or, sell,
if you
online makeup or something.
Yeah, if you do have a larger home and maybe your children are out of the house now and you have the extra room, try to make it in such a way that you can make somebody live there and give you a little bit of extra income. So you don't have to go crazy or buy anything, but it's just to start whatever you can, and it's something that you can do that is going to work with your lifestyle, which is more important than anything.
So tell me what you think, out of having all of this information now, having a good idea of what all of this means. Mortgage rates are going up, foreign buyers ban in 2 years, for 2 years. And then this affordability in the news. Where do you think, and knowing the globally, what's going on in Europe, where do you see the Ontario housing market? Let's start with that.
Okay, so let me get my crystal ball here.
Yes.
Without being funny here, is one thing I know for sure: history repeats itself. So if you look at what we've seen over the past 100, 200 years, there's always changes in the economy, there's changes in the climate, there's changes in the war. There's always going to be this is something that is constant. So we shouldn't be surprised. We don't know what it's going to be called. We didn't know about COVID, but we knew that we were due for something to happen in the world. And then in the next 10 years, something is going to come up. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be something. And the constant change is always there. So the only thing that you have to go back is take it as a grain of salt. Don't make it into, oh my God, this is catastrophic. I shouldn't be doing anything. I'm not going to get it out of my house anymore, right? But just go back and say, what can I control within my own economy, really? And do that and continue to live your life. Like, be happy today, because we don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow anyway, right? So that's my best advice that I can give you. But always control what you can control, which is you, your economy, what you spend, what you don't spend, what you do. Like, the fear of something happening is there anyway, right? So that's what I can tell you from my side. How about you, Colette?
Good advice. I love everything you said. I agree with you. So the only things that I can say, so if a client was in front of me and they said, okay, what should I do? What should be my next move? I agree with you. I don't think it's really going to be any different as far as you personally, because first of all, you have to have a plan. If you're buying an investment property or a home, there's always a plan B or an exit strategy. You always have to have that. If you buy a stock, when are you buying it, for how much, and when are you selling it? It's the same thing. You're buying a property or you're buying real estate anywhere in the world, actually, and you have to have a plan. So you have your goal, you have your plan, and your exit strategy to say, okay, I'm going to buy an income property. If I make $2,000 a month, let's say, it pays for the mortgage, it's this and that and the other. I'm going to retire in, let's say, 10 years. Now I have my plan. I'm going to stick to the plan. If something happens in between, it doesn't mean that you can't change the plan. You could absolutely change the plan. But I believe in real estate so much and know exactly what you said. Look at history. we all know real estate is going to go up. We all know what we just said. Mortgage rates are going up. Foreign buyers ban. Now is the time to buy something because you know in 10 years it will grow. I can't guarantee it unless there's like some, zombie plague that, or if we go into a world war and we get bombed and, the value of our homes are all going to go down, but we're all in the same boat. Like that's the other stuff
your life.
To understand. Right. And I agree with you 100%. Live your life today. If you have a goal of buying an investment property, buy it.
Yeah.
If you have a goal of buying your own home, just muscle through this. If you know this is how much the mortgage rates are going to, do you know how much I paid for my first house? I think I was up to 12 or 13%.
Oh, yeah.
Rate.
Absolutely.
So really, when I'm looking at 3 or 4%, there's no question.
Yeah, let's buy it.
There's no question. What's the question? Of course, let's do it. So even though we've been spoiled the last few years of having such low mortgage rates, now's the time to buy. Put as much money as you can to pay off the principal. And then this is all about principal and
interest.
How much interest you're going to pay. So when you really think about it, there's no question. Of course, buy. If you can afford it, buy it. If you can afford those payments, you can also buy a house, renovate a portion of it, and rent that out to help you with your payments if the mortgage rates go up. There is always a way, but it's specific to you and what your needs are, what your goals are, and how much you can afford.
Exactly. And the thing is, the one thing that I do, I totally agree with what you said, Colette. But why do I know that real estate is kind of like the best thing to do that is going to continue on? I don't care 20 years, 30 years, 40 years from now, somebody has to live somewhere,
100%. Right.
Before we used to have caves. Now we have houses, we have buildings. Next, 20, 30, 40 years, I don't know. We might live in pods.
We're going to be on boats now. That's it.
I don't know, right?
I don't know with boats. Yeah.
What it is going to be, but I know that whatever form it takes, it's going to be there to protect you. So somebody has to live somewhere. So whatever real estate it is today and in the future, if you're able to, and if you're not able to, then put a plan in place to be able to do it, because it's, to me, the best investment you can have.
Well, and then generally, and we started this whole conversation about what we think is going to happen in the future. So number one, I think, yes, prices are going to stabilize. They're not going to go down. Number two, mortgage rates are going to go up to the point where people can't afford it anymore and they will have to sell. So there'll be more on the market. So that could actually create a buyer's market. And prices, even though they're listed high, might sell for less, which hasn't happened in the last few years. So really, when you think about, I'm going to wait for this bubble to burst, people have been saying that for 20 years. So I don't know if I can call it a bubble. I wish they would stop using that term, but prices may even out. It could take, I think all of this year, the prices are still going to go up. They'll even out. I want to say we'll start seeing changes in 2023 and maybe later in 2023, because this all has to do with how much the mortgage rates are going to go up in the next year. So forecasting, if you buy now, I still think you're going to get a good price. It's not going to dive. I really can't see that happening.
Yeah. No, in the type of economy that we have right now, because the demand is too great. At least here in Canada, in Ontario, where we are, right? Yeah. And it is happening everywhere because the population is not getting smaller. So anywhere you go, this is happening.
Yeah. And I don't care how much the government says, affordable housing, we're putting money towards it. We're running out of property. We're running out of land to actually produce more housing and build. And if you think about affordable housing, even though they announce it today, it will take them 3 or 4 years to actually build this housing. It can't happen overnight. So think about that in about 3 or 4 years. Yes, there might be more properties out there to buy. Of course, every year people are, not just the government, but I'm saying in general, builders are still building. I still see a lot of action going on in the GTA, building everywhere, even small independent builders versus big condos. So it's still happening. It just can't keep up with demand. There's too much demand. And that's business 101, supply and demand. If the supply the demand outweighs the supply, then that's going to be a seller's market. So
absolutely. So just to recap, guys, look at the news, but look at it as just as a reference, because there is not much that you can control. And besides, also the media, they change so much things and they make it worse than it actually is. But what it means to you is you need to continue to be in control of what you can, and just have a reference. What can I do? Can I still buy? The best time to buy is always now.
Well, 10 years ago.
Or 10 years ago.
Let me get my time machine. Yeah.
But until we get one of those, then the best time to buy is now. If you do have everything in place, then just go out there, get the best possible realtor that you can. If you can, get Colette to help you get that property that you want, because you definitely are going to need help to get that property. And other than that, just be happy, enjoy the moment, and things are going to be what they are. If we're going to work tomorrow, everybody's going to be in a bad shape, no matter what we'll do, right?
You know what? Absolutely, I agree with you. Enjoy your life. Don't overextend yourself financially too. I think that's something that people are so eager to get into the real estate market that they really they overextend themselves. They can't afford holidays. They can't afford that stress relief of a holiday, things like that you have to give up. Really look at your finances before you do anything, and then absolutely talk to Araceli about that. She can help you, and have a plan. That's really all we can tell you. Whatever is going to happen, we're all in the same boat.
Absolutely.
Maybe that's what we all have to live on, boats now.
Yeah, no kidding. Absolutely. So that's it for now. So if you have any comments about it, just let us know. We're happy to see what you have to say.
Well, yeah. What do you think is going to happen in the next, let's say, year? Do you think the market's going to go down? Do you think the bubble is going to burst? We would love to have those comments.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, Colette.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for being here on the show. Please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified when there are more shows available. And if you would like to have more information on how to start investing in real estate, please visit my website at www.aracelihernandez.com. Thank you.